Hold on 1 second.
There you go, Doc.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to our new platform, 44 Stack. I'm Kelsey Hoop Charles, and with me I've got Antonio Long Long.
What's
How's it going,
AP?
man?
Oh
All
man,
right.
it's been a minute. SGP ain't going nowhere. This is just something new we wanted to do for football season. So this will be running from August to Super Bowl. And hope y'all enjoy it. This is where we really gonna get in depth on football. This is something that me and Kelsey typically talk about anyway, but most of the time it's not on this platform. But we say might as well put it out there. And looking forward to having some guests come on, good friends and family members that know what kind of foolishness we normally get into when we talking about this here.
For sure, for sure. So, how we want to do is we want to just jump right into the meat of things because I know you got a special place in your heart when we get to the pro section. So
Yeah, pretty
I'm not
much.
going to keep you waiting too long. So.
But just to let everybody know, if you're listening to this, we are on our normal platforms, and we also will be on YouTube. We have a sponsor for the show. I received my insurance license last year, so I will be sponsoring the show as well. Long Family Insurance for all of your supplemental and life insurance needs. Give me a call. So we will be that will be our normal sponsor. And this is a sidebar to She Good People's podcast. We encourage you to continue to listen to that. Still going strong after 4 years. Love it, love it, love it. But 44 Stack is all about football, and we're gonna go ahead and jump into the college game right now.
All right, let's look at this AP poll, see what we got.
Well, looking at it, Kelsey, in all actuality, I didn't have too many thoughts about what came out on yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to highlight, of course, the SEC is dominating as usual. You know how that goes.
Right.
But did anything jump out to you before I get started on it?
Well, I'm a little biased to my Tigers. They're ranked outside of the top 10. Um, but it's exciting because now we've got Florida State at number 10. So the ACC is starting to get a little bit of love. Football, college football is still SEC dominated as it should be, but it's good to see some of the other conferences starting to get some love in the top 10 as well.
Well, I didn't have so much an issue with Clemson being at 14. I kind of felt like that's where we are. Defensively, I think Clemson's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
It's the ultimate thing goes to the offense and what Cade can do. If Cade doesn't do well, Clemson's not going to do well. I mean, that's been our downfall since the graduation. Well, not graduation, but leaving to go to the NFL of Trevor Lawrence. We haven't found anybody to replace that per se.
True. And we thought it was going to be DJ, and for all intents and purposes, when he filled in for Trevor on the Notre Dame game, we thought, hey, you know what? We're good. We're good. But for whatever reason, that didn't translate over to when he started it. It made me feel a little bit better at the end of that season, his first season, that, the way we played against Georgia that was mainly defense. I think we
Yeah.
gave Georgia the hardest competition that year.
Mm-hmm.
And had it not been for that interception, it might have been a different outcome. Don't know. But here again, you're right. We don't have that quarterback playing in place. And another thing too is Dabo in the transfer portal. I understand his argument and what he wants to do, but let's just be real. This is the new landscape of football now. So if you're not willing to dabble in the portal and get some of that talent, I feel that coaches are probably going to be more on the hot seat now because you got people coming in and out, and you got to be able to teach them the X's and O's and really get them up to speed in a short amount of time because money's talking now. These guys are going for that NIL deal. They're going for that money, and they're going to go where they're going to be the highest paid and get the most playing time. but at the same time, you still got to be coachable. You can have all the talent in the world.
You
And so
do.
that's going to be that's going to be able to put the coaches on the hot seat. But to Dabo's point, if you can bring those guys up through the ranks, I mean, you'd have a great team because you think about from his start at Clemson, being able to develop those players, even Nick Saban in Alabama, those storied franchises, or not storied franchises, those storied programs,
Yeah.
and they were able to bring, you got a dog at a certain position. People are in the back are waiting. They're watching. They're seeing the work ethic. They're seeing the technique. They're seeing all these things, the coaching and all that stuff. So it helps. But now you're being judged off of raw talent, and if you can bring it all together for one great season, because that's pretty much all you got now. You're one and done.
Well, you look at it from that standpoint, but in a way, I kind of agree with Dabo, but at the same time, if everybody else is doing it, you should be doing it. Because just as well as I do, by being a Clemson graduate, if you can get that person on campus, it's over. You're not leaving Clemson.
Yeah.
A lot of folks don't realize, unless you grew up in South Carolina and have the opportunity to go to Clemson, a lot of people don't realize just everything that Clemson has to offer, not only from an academic standpoint, but from just an atmosphere standpoint. And, Dabo could really utilize doing that. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to go, deep in the pockets for the NIL. That's probably not going to happen. But one of the things I can say Dabo's been lacking in the last few years, he's defensively, he's still killing it. Top end defensive line, linebackers are great. His corners and safeties, he's been pulling those type of players because that's what he's putting in the NFL. Offensively is where we've been struggling the last few years and not having the type Sammy Watkins type, not having the
Mike Williams, T. Higgins.
Mike Williams, T. Higgins type wide receivers that come in. Now, the young man last year from Seneca that just put on a show, Davis. He was a pleasant surprise, not highly recruited, but one of the things that has been a staple for Dabo since he's been at Clemson, his wide receivers are some of the top wide receivers in the nation, and it continues to be that way. The only problem is I just don't have enough faith in Cade. Do I believe they can win the ACC? Yes. Because I have zero faith in DJ Uiagalelei at Florida State. And just because it's Florida State too, Florida State, just like last year, and one of the things, you're looking at history with Florida State, and they consistently struggle against Wake Forest, have done that since they've been in the conference. They got Georgia Tech early. I think that's going to be, it's not going to be a blowout win just because, Tech gets up, rises up for certain teams, especially us in Florida State. So, that could happen. That's where I just feel like Florida State is not going to win the ACC, even though they're ranked number 10. I think that's too high. And I think a lot of that has to do with where they were last year, but they lost a lot of players off both sides of the ball. And I just don't see them dominating. They really didn't dominate last year. If Cade wouldn't have fumbled the ball a few times in the Florida State game, just like he did in the Duke game, we would have probably been 11-1, maybe, because the only game we really lost outright was North Carolina State. So
yeah, and they always give us a hard time, no matter what. I mean, even from the Deshaun days, Trevor, they give us a hard time.
North Carolina State hates us, and we hate them. So it's not it's one of those games where you already know that, it don't live up to the hype of some of the SEC games, but that's one of your tougher games on the schedule every year. So just looking at that, that's where I think we're going to be.
Let me ask you this question. Can we rely on our running game this year? Is O-line give us enough protection we need to do?
Oh, yeah. Phil Maffa and the offensive line, I think we should lean heavily on that. And then if you see that the running game is starting to take effect, you ease the safeties up. You got enough talent at wide receiver. Now, they're not burners, but you got enough talent at wide receiver where I think you can cause some issues. We got a great tight end. I think he is going to be the next prototype to go into the league.
You know, Rhythm Spoons?
Rhythm Spoons. Yeah. He's going to be yeah. He's going to be good. And then now one thing I can say about Dabo, even in the NIL world, he's still getting top-notch players. You know, I like the two moves he made. He went and got Luke for the offensive line coach. He's highly qualified, and he brought back Chris Rump. So defensive line is automatically going to benefit from that. You know, Rump was there when we started bringing in the Dexter Lawrences and the Christian Wilkins. So I'm looking forward to that. Matter of fact, I saw today Georgia had one of their defensive linemen decommit. He's a 5-star out of Georgia. I'm hoping Clemson is next on his list, because right now, if you play defensive line in the country, if you don't go to Clemson, Georgia, or Alabama, you're not, you know,
doing yourself any favors. Yeah,
right. You ain't doing yourself any favors. You got to go someplace where it's going to maximize your potential. And I don't know where Dabo's finding. Because Dabo's finding guys 6'6", 315 freshmen. You know, they ain't got to do that. They freshmen coming in ready to play. You know, and it's been like that since Dexter Lawrence walked in. You know, he has figured out where to get these guys. And then one of the things I like most about them is, they come in as D tackles, but they can actually switch out and go to end and still dominate. So I'm really looking forward to the defense. We'll talk about the Georgia Clemson game later on when we get closer to that time. Probably next week's show, because I think that's next week's show, because the game is after that. But you know, but looking down at the rest of the top 10,
I think Georgia's still number one. Do you think it's still number one?
Yeah, because they probably got the most talent in the country. Now, I'm not, everybody's high on Carson Beck. I'm not. There was a couple of games last year Georgia should have lost, you know, but they pulled it out.
But the talent around him makes up in the areas, though.
But the defense is not that same defense from 2 years ago. And I think that's going to catch up with them this year, you know.
I mean, you lost a lot on offense, too. You got Bowers, McConkey.
Yeah.
You know, you lost a lot on offense, too.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia's one of those franchises like maybe Alabama, you keep plugging and playing, but at some point it's going to catch up to you.
Yeah. And the thing about it, you know, Georgia has a mountain of issues right now, if you actually look at them. The arrests are adding up for driving violations. And then you look at, you know, they posted graduation rates for the last few years. Georgia's dead last in Power 5 conference with 41%. That's unacceptable, man. Especially when, you're winning, but you look at some of your better programs, your Bamas, your Clemsons, you know, they graduate 90, 95, 96, 97% of their players, and they put them in the league. That's going to catch up with Georgia after a while. You know, you're running a renegade program, whether you realize it or not, you are.
Yeah, for sure.
The only other thing I can say about the top 25, I hate to say this about, because I love Michigan too. But he's going to get fired. Somebody got to take the fall, man. Harbaugh left, went to the league. In reality, he can say he didn't know all he want. Doesn't matter. Sherrod Moore is going to get fired because they're going to need a scapegoat. And who better to scapegoat than the brother? I'm just going to be honest with you. And then
you think the AD wouldn't take the fall for it?
No, they're gonna put that squarely on the football team, man. And noticing that Sherrod had 57 text messages with old boy that was disguised. He gonna be the main one take the fall, man. And ideally, I'm not gonna say Michigan had to cheat. I just think, you know, it was a way to get them above board quickly. And now that Harbaugh's not there, somebody got to take the fall, and Michigan is getting ready to come back down to earth.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted. There.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted, but again, just looking at where we are in the landscape, the next thing is going to be, how do you see conference alignment shaking out? Or better yet, let's put it like this here. Is Clemson and Florida State going anywhere?
I don't think so. They're the cash cows of the ACC. I don't see them going anywhere.
Well, one of the problems I see already is you can't, neither one of you can go to the SEC, even though the Big Ten is at 16 teams, SEC is at 16. Well, Big Ten is at 20 teams now. The SEC is at 16. You're not going to the SEC because the Gamecocks and the Gators don't want you there. Now, I think pretty much Georgia would be the push for Clemson, just because of the fact they want that rivalry every year. That's a cash game every year, whether you play in Athens, Clemson, or Atlanta. That's a cash game.
Atlanta. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You know, Georgia looking at it from that standpoint. But the Gamecocks are already mired in mediocrity from a football standpoint. If Clemson starts getting SEC type money, the Gamecocks are virtually non-existent at that point. Clemson already dominates the Gamecocks in every facet of football. You know, so the Gamecocks definitely don't want them getting that money. So that's going to be their big thing. No, you can't come in. The Gators are going to keep Florida State out. And it's two parts on that. They hate each other. Plus, the legislature in Florida is probably going to demand, if Florida State goes to the SEC, they're probably going to demand Miami go too. And Florida don't want either one of them. You know?
Right.
I think if anybody leaves the ACC to go anywhere, it's going to be North Carolina and Virginia, because that opens up a new market for the Big Ten. Also opens up a new market for the SEC. But here's the kicker with both of them. The Big Ten would want them strictly for basketball. It's not a football move. That's a basketball move. If you can get North Carolina and Virginia every year with Michigan State, Indiana, you know, that's big for them. The other part of it, and I think Maryland would benefit from Virginia, because Maryland honestly does not belong in the Big Ten. But if they had Virginia there with them, it would make it a little better. But the other problem with that is, if you take North Carolina and Virginia, that's going to cause a hubbub in both states, because you need Virginia Tech and North Carolina State got to go somewhere. Okay. You can't leave. North Carolina cannot leave NC State by themselves, and Virginia cannot leave Virginia Tech by themselves. Now, the other problem with that is this. In North Carolina, that leaves Duke and Wake Forest. Duke and Wake Forest are private universities, okay? The state schools are North Carolina State and North Carolina. They can't go without each other. But if you actually look at it, the Big Ten would want Duke, okay? You're not going to get one without getting all four. But that ain't what they want. So that's why I feel like it's not going to work. Their best bet might be to stay in the SEC. I mean, in the ACC, and then now I agree with bringing in SMU, because you know that gives you a footprint in Texas. I don't understand Cal and Stanford. Makes no sense to me. I felt like Cal and Stanford probably should have finagled their way into the Big 12. But they wanted, I mean, from an academic standpoint, they fit the ACC's profile. From an athletic standpoint, That's gonna be ridiculous flying all the way cross country for games, man.
Yeah.
Something gonna have to give. The Pac-12 should have never dissolved because it is what it is, and I think Oregon, Washington, SC and UCLA gonna regret it when it's all said and done, because it's gonna that's a tremendous strain that you don't need, not only from a physical standpoint but from a financial standpoint. You got to remember Rutgers is in the Big Ten. You got to fly from LA all the way to New Jersey. That's not good, man.
Well, it wouldn't make much sense from a financial standpoint of Rutgers, but if Stanford could be ranked, USC could be ranked, that would be prime time. That's prime time money right there. That's pretty good money if
it is. But see, the key in all of this realignment is Notre Dame. And really, Notre Dame don't want to give up the independence, but honestly, if Notre Dame decided, they would cause a bunch of problems if they decided, all right, we're gonna do the ACC. If they did the ACC, you're already playing that schedule anyway. That still opens you up. You still get your big games against SC and Stanford and Michigan State. You play ACC. You see the COVID year, how good the conference was. You end up playing Clemson twice, but at the same time, I put you in the playoff. It's a money game. I hate it because you're losing traditional rivals and whatever. But at the same time, it's understandable from a certain standpoint, to do some of these things. But I don't think in the long run it's going to sustain, unless the ultimate thing is we just end up with one big conference, everybody all together, and you split it up into divisions and you go that way like the NFL.
Yeah, that'd be the best. That'd probably wind up happening.
Oh, there's nothing else left to do. I mean, you figure you're not going to get some of your smaller schools it's good they're going to get in the playoff, and that's our next topic, the 12-team playoff. Looking forward to it. A lot of people
with the current top 10, do you think you see much shift throughout the season? I mean, the biggest one, I guess, right now to start off with is Georgia Clemson. I think Clemson would stand to gain more from winning that game. Georgia could still redeem themselves because of strength of schedule of the SEC. But with that 12-team playoff scenario, do you think it'll cause more players not to opt out, or you think they'll still look for, if I'm gonna get drafted, I'm not doing this?
No, I think if you're in the top 12 and depending on what your matchup is, I think you're gonna play. Now, I like it. I like it from that standpoint, just because, 1AA and the other divisions, they have 16. I think Division 2 has 32. I think Division 3 has, I want to say 64, I believe. And it's not bad. Now, the only thing about it, because they're going to try to do all of this basically when the semester's over for down here in the South. They're not, most teams down here in the South is not on the quarter system. They on the semester system. So, you actually going to be playing football into the way they envision it eventually is they're going to play the weekend in between the Super Bowl and the
Pro Bowl.
It's normally Pro Bowl weekend, but it's going to be championship weekend. They're going to play that weekend eventually. And the NFL wants to move Super Bowl to President's Day, so you get that 3-day weekend, so you ain't got to worry about getting up. But that's a lot, man. You're talking about really 2 months after the season over. But that's the way I see it going.
How did that fall in line with the NBA All-Star break, though? Isn't the All-Star break like mid-February?
All-Star break used to be the second Sunday in February. Now they done moved it to the third Sunday. So that all of that'll be the same time, and that's just too much, man. Yeah. But what we've seen with the NFL lately, NFL don't care. If it's a day in the week, they playing. Christmas that used to be NBA Day now, and then but I fought the NBA on that too now because their games hadn't been great the last few years for Christmas, but the NFL been putting bangers on for Christmas though.
But I mean, you got to look at the talent pool in the NBA. Don't get me wrong. I think star power is higher than it's ever been, but at the same time, the landscape has changed. I mean, that's in sports in general. Back in our time, I mean,
Well,
barring a broken bone, anything you playing. You're not sitting out games. You're not doing any of that. But now it's all about load management.
Well, and this is one of the things I applaud with realignment in college football because you're getting matchups now that's worthy of watching early in the year and mid-year and things like that.
Right.
The NBA need to adapt that same thing. They last year's Christmas Day matchups were terrible. Boston playing the Lakers. Come on, man. That ain't must-see TV. That's why I ended up watching I think I watched the Chiefs and the Raiders early and then watched the Chargers and the Bengals. I think that's what it was that night.
Didn't the Raiders beat the Chiefs that day?
Yeah, they beat them that day.
Yeah,
so that's why I say, you got to put something on. Right now, the NFL dominates and they know how to dominate. And if you're gonna do that for Christmas, if you're gonna end up basically they playing every day now. So if you're gonna end up doing that, you got to give people something to watch, and you got to give it to the NFL. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So let's segue into the NFL then, brother.
All right. So you saying
let's start with our two favorite teams of all time.
Oh no, I don't want to go there yet. I'm still on college. I don't want to go there yet.
All right, what you got on college?
So you saying top 12? You think they'll still be there? They'll still be there at the end of the year. You see Clemson getting in the playoffs?
Yes.
So who's out? Who's out? Who's in?
I think they're gonna be the ACC champion. Looking at the 12 from where they start right now, Utah is at 12, Missouri's at 11, Florida State's at 10, Michigan's at 9, Penn State's at 8, Notre Dame's at 7, Ole Miss at 6, Bama's 5, Texas is 4, Oregon's 3, Ohio State is 2, and Georgia is number 1.
Who slips up?
6 through 11, you can go ahead and say at least 4 of them are not going to make it. And the reason why I say that is Ole Miss is overrated. They can score, but they can't play defense. Notre Dame is going to Notre Dame it. You already know it's going to happen. At some point during the season, they're going to lose to somebody they absolutely have no business losing to, and then that's going to be it. And even if they do go 10-2, 11-1, 12, and if they play somebody that's worth anything, they're going to lose.
Okay, I didn't look at Ole Miss's schedule to see who they had early in the season. So yeah, I don't know.
I didn't look at it. I know they still got to play Bama, so I'm still not giving them nothing. And I think they got Georgia too, so I'm still not giving them that. So we already know Penn State, James Franklin can beat everybody except Michigan and Ohio State, so he's not going anywhere. Michigan, Sherrod's gonna get fired, so they're gonna struggle as a team. Florida State, DJ Uiagalelei, ain't it, bruh? Ain't it? We saw enough of that when he was here at Clemson. That ain't it. I don't.
It seemed like he did a little bit better when he went to Oregon State, though.
No, I watched them last year when they played. Not when they played Oregon, when they played Washington.
Colorado. Oh, Washington. Yeah, it just depends on I don't know. It's like sometimes he shows flashes of greatness, and most of the time it's just.
Well, if you look at him, he the prototypical quarterback.
That's
big,
true.
Strong, athletic. It just don't put it. I've seen him throw 5-yard outs into the ground, man, and there's no reason for it. I don't know if it's a mechanical thing or it's a mind thing, but you've seen DJ, man. You've seen DJ.
Yeah. I think it's a
played
mindset.
terrible.
I think he needs the right coach. I mean, when he played no, I keep going back to that game, so I know he can do it, unless he was playing out of his mind that one game. But I mean, for that game, the defense lost that game. I mean, he put up 400 something yards. I mean, but look at his receivers too. I mean, you got to think of who he had on the team. So, I
Well,
mean,
that's just like 2 years ago when they went up to Wake Forest in that 55-52 game. I mean, bruh,
yeah,
he was outstanding that game. Then the next week he come out lay the egg. I mean, you never know what you're gonna get from DJ, you know. And
yeah,
if Florida State is banking on that, I just don't see it, you
yeah.
know. So
I
I
agree
don't
with you
think
on that.
now the only one out of the top 12 that I don't have any concerns about is Utah, because I'm picking Utah to win the Big 12. Just
Hmm.
because Utah is just hard nosed. You got to beat them, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and them going to honestly a lesser conference, because Oklahoma and Texas is not there anymore. They gonna
Hmm.
dominate the Big 12. So
Yeah.
while we on the Big 12, let's talk about this here. What you think about Colorado, bro?
Dion he still needs some players. I think they've got flashes. The O line needs to protect. If he gets the O line to do what they need to do, I'm not going to say it's going to turn the program around in 1 year, but it'll be a lot better.
You think he gonna stay?
You should. I don't see why not.
I mean, Shadur is, most people say he's gonna be the first quarterback taken off the board next year.
I don't see why he wouldn't stay. Or you think he'll make that transition to the pros coaching?
I think if somebody come with the right amount of money, maybe.
But him having success as head coach at Jackson State, and then perceived, he turned the program, all intents first, he turned the program around. He made it better. Um, do you think he would take maybe an OC or a DC position? Because I don't see him taking anything less than that. Transition to the
No,
NFL.
no, because I don't think Dion actually would feel comfortable being an OC or a DC. That's just me. If he
Mhm.
ain't in charge, I don't think he'd want it.
Yeah, but well, it's funny that we had to have this conversation. I know he's more than capable of being a head coach, but do you think they'd give him an opportunity?
I think it depends on what team. Uh, it's
Jerry will do it.
Yeah, because it's a show. You already know that. It's a show for Jerry, and it ain't gonna change. I think Jerry would do it, and I honestly, Mike McCarthy, this is last year, I believe. You know, so
And
yeah, he go.
I think Jerry's trying to make sure it's his last year too. But we'll
What?
talk about that in a few minutes. What do you think about LSU and Clemson? You think they'll make the playoff? You see what I'm doing, right?
I know what you're doing.
We
That's
gonna
fine.
get there. We gonna get there, but
Look here,
I'm gonna make
you
sure.
just prolonging it. That's all. But that's fine. But LSU, let me tell you about LSU. Plenty of talent. Uh,
Mhm.
Coach ain't worth nothing. Brian Kelly will find a way to screw it up.
Take defeat out of the jaws of victory.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
he will find a way to screw it up, and that has been his MO at Notre Dame. That has been his MO the first couple of years at LSU. Um, Honestly, talent wise, I feel like LSU probably got as much talent as Georgia. It's
Hmm.
just he can't put it together. Um, the thing is, you had the Heisman Trophy winner and everything last year. You lost 3 football games. I mean, bruh,
Yeah.
and got ultimately embarrassed in one of them. So I mean,
Hmm.
he is known throughout his coaching career to mess up a game plan.
Hmm.
And the people down in LSU ain't gonna put up with it but so long, bro.
That is true.
10-2 ain't gonna get it at LSU. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry. It ain't gonna
no.
get it at LSU. And the thing is now,
Expectations are too high. Yeah.
yeah. And now that you've added Texas, because I feel like Texas is the second best team in the SEC this year. I feel like that'll be who be playing Georgia in the championship game. If Sark can get them there, and he's turned the program around enough to stay on top of stuff. LSU's gonna have to do better. And then honestly, I think once Kalen DeBoer gets Alabama acclimated to how he wants to coach, this man ain't lost nowhere he's been. So Bama ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
You know.
So. All right, that's a good take. So let's go ahead and get the elephant. Let's address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna let you go ahead and do what you do. Go ahead. Cowboys.
All right, we're going to the NFL, and for those of you that don't know me and Kelsey, I'm a Steeler fan. Kelsey's a Cowboy fan, and we take great pleasure in ridiculing each other about each other's team.
Yes. So if y'all just a footnote, just hang around that first weekend in November. I think it's November 3rd, right?
Nope. October 6th.
No, every play October 6th. Yeah, November is Falcons game. Yeah. So the weekend, the Tuesday after that, it's gonna be a whole lot of foolishness.
Oh, the lead up to that gonna be a whole lot of foolishness. We already looking forward to that. Can't wait. You know, they only let us play once every 4 years. I hate that. This should be an every year thing. Just because we are the two premier franchises in all of the NFL. Okay, say what you want, say what you will. The nation and the Cowboys is the two premier teams in the NFL. We gonna travel, they gonna travel. We hate each other, they hate us, we hate them. The stars at night, we can't stand them.
But it's always a good show.
It's always. I don't think I've ever been disappointed with a Cowboy Steeler game in my life, and I'll be 52.
Yes, you have.
Oh, that don't get me started. I ain't want to cuss on the first show, but don't get me started about Neil O'Donnell, bro. You about to make me you about to make me go off already. We ain't even gonna talk about that. Because we was winning that football game, you know.
I mean,
Larry Brown there. Larry Brown. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't think he lasted 2 years after that.
No, because you know why?
For that one game, and he got paid off of that game too.
Everybody got paid
that same day.
Neil O'Donnell. But anyway, I digress. 2024 Dallas Cowboys. What is Jared trying to do, man?
The problem with Jared is the Cowboys is the richest sports franchise in the world. As long as he's putting behinds in those seats and getting paid, I don't think he has a desire to win. I mean, if they're making the playoffs, that's almost like a Super Bowl to Jared. Because people, like you just said, people are going to travel, they're going to do whatever. And so until that starts declining, I don't see him trying to change anything. You know, he's frustrated at the end of every season because we don't do this, that, and other thing. But I'm a Cowboy realist. I know we're not going anywhere until we get some serious people in there. And Jerry stays upstairs. You know, the last time we had a serious coach that wasn't afraid of Jerry in the early mid 90s, you saw what happened.
Yeah.
And I mean, you say what you want to say about Jimmy. He made the unpopular decisions. I mean, look at what he did when he went to Miami. Had he stayed there long enough, I believe Miami would have had a chip. You know, because he made the unpopular decision to sit Dan Marino, even though Dan was a legend there. It's time to pass.
Yeah,
so
but
Jimmy was going to do what he had to do.
Yeah, but he didn't have a quarterback, and that was the problem.
That was the problem. But he had him on that trend. If he could have found that, you know,
the
sky would have been the limit. But back to Jerry, I mean, it's just, he's got to get out of the way. And the other thing that's going to happen is, I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this, but my boys are delusional to a certain extent because I'm not delving out all that money. I understand. Trust me, I understand. You're risking your body out there for the game. I mean, because you always want to hit away. But if you plan to make it to the next level, or you got to follow what Tom Brady did. I mean, Mahomes is different. He can take anybody and make them look good. But you almost got to have team-friendly contracts nowadays if you want to build something and do something.
Well,
And Dallas is not willing to do that.
I ain't even gonna say team friendly contract, man, because I'm gonna be honest with Dak. Dak has a propensity to come up small when the Cowboys need him most. You know
Tony
what I mean?
Romo?
One thing that I have learned in the last 52 years is that y'all had Captain America. Roger Staubach was y'all God. Let's put it like that. And Staubach spoiled y'all for a lot of years until y'all end up getting Troy. And Troy did what he was supposed to do. But Troy, honestly, nobody never talks about this. Troy Aikman was not the greatest quarterback.
He's a great game manager.
He was a glorified game manager because all I had to do was turn around and hand the ball to Emmett and make a few passes to the playmaker, and that was it.
That O-line. I mean, he didn't have to do much. That O-line was great. And you saw what happened when the O-line was gone. He stayed concussed.
Yeah. But see, here's the issue. Y'all have had Danny White, Gary Hogaboom, Steve Walsh, Tony Romo, Quincy Carter. Now you're on Dak Prescott. Okay. And Dak can't get y'all over the hump, man.
Nobody could.
No, but see, y'all were embarrassed last year in the playoffs by the Packers, by a young Packer team that honestly ain't gonna do nothing but get better. Okay,
that is true.
Last year they were some dumb plays in the second half against the 49ers from going to the Super Bowl. Because I think for sure they would have won that game had they not made the mistakes that they made. And they would have beat Detroit the next week just because Detroit ain't ready. They got there, they felt good. It was a feel-good story, but Detroit just ain't gonna get over the hump, man, because coaching, for one thing, coaching matters. I don't care what nobody tell you. If your coach makes dumb decisions like Mike McCarthy is known to do, clock management, play calling, all of that, you're not going to win. And we've seen in the Dak Prescott era, Dak is he's gonna, throw the baby out with the bathwater, because he's gonna do something to mess up a game.
Well, another caveat of that too is, when you talk about all these players, we talk about like a Troy Aikman, the defense that Troy played with during those Super Bowl team. See, I think we have the players to do it, but our players just don't have the discipline. So many times I see, they're so anxious, they're swarming the ball, but they don't have the discipline to stay in place and try to read what the offense is doing in disguise, and then, at the right run downhill at the right time or bite and, try to turn plays at the right time. It's just like, it's all or nothing with them, feast or famine. Yeah. So it's you got to have patience. You got to give them looks to make the offense comfortable, and then you change up your play.
Well,
and so maybe Zimmer can do it. I don't know.
No, because one of the things I that has been consistent with the Cowboys is you all dominate lesser teams all the time. You give people the impression that you all have a great defense when really you don't. Teams that have good offensive schemes historically have dominated you all.
Well, you can see the Packers. We couldn't stop the run for nothing.
Well, y'all ain't been able to stop the run for years, man. Not since the early 90s. Y'all ain't been able to stop the run. Because y'all don't have the two things y'all don't have is defensive tackles and linebackers.
No, we had the two games that Sean Lee did play, we stopped the run. Sean Lee was stopping that run. And when we had Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch when they were both healthy, but that was the problem. Nobody stays healthy.
Well, again, Y'all lead the league in takeaways last year again, even though you lost Trayvon Diggs. But here's the thing: if y'all not getting turnovers, y'all not stopping nobody.
That is true.
Y'all not stopping nobody. Y'all are overrated defense. Your so-called great player.
Third and long is like 3rd and 1 for the Cowboys. I mean, for the offenses when they play the Cowboys.
Oh yeah.
Because we're gonna go all or nothing.
But see, the other problem is your big time superstar on defense is all talk. Because if you actually pay attention, he can't dominate against good teams, man. He do that mess against lesser opponents, man. He don't do that against good teams.
For the double team because they know he don't have anything else going.
But all he got is a speed rush, man. He need to be getting in his position to learn how to do multiple moves, and he does not do that.
You'll see a change this season. Trust me on that.
No, the only reason you're gonna see a chance this year is because he's trying to get paid.
Watch what I tell you. He's gonna be a totally different player this year.
Okay, so you got 3 superstars who gonna get paid.
None of them. Well,
the only person that has to get paid,
Micah not gonna get paid. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, Micah still now from Jerry's standpoint, I will say this: Micah isn't due until next year, so there's no need to rush and do an extension. Unless
if you pay CD and Dak, there's not enough money for the rest of the team.
Well, the cap gonna go up next year, so you already know that. But at the same time, it's better if you're gonna pay any of the 3, you pay Micah, because if you don't pay Micah, that price tag is going to be significantly higher next year because of the fact defensive ends is a premium. Okay.
Exactly.
Now Jerry gonna piss him off because Jerry gonna try to say, well, he's not a DN. He's gonna try to say he's a linebacker to cut the money. I already know that. And that's true. That's gonna upset him. I already know that. If he thinks he's gonna get top DN money, if he's gonna be up there with Bosa, Jerry's not trying to do it.
No, he's not going to do it.
Jerry actually is going to try to give him a deal closer to TJ Watt. Watch. That's the deal to look at. TJ Watt's deal is the deal to look at, because that's going to be the point for the Cowboys for Michael Parsons, because he's going to try to pigeonhole him at linebacker, even though that's not his spot.
Yeah.
And then with CD, I seen something today, people just speculating, do the Cowboys trade CD?
No, they're not going to trade him. I don't think CD's playing this year without any money.
Well, if he don't play, y'all have no chance. So, because y'all have no receivers. So what do you do? Now I agree not paying Dak what he asking for. I totally agree with that, because Dak has had enough time to show you he can get you over the hump by himself. He's had enough time.
So then we go with Cooper Rush?
No. If CD don't play, y'all gonna be picking in the top 3. Y'all can get Shador.
We might try to go for him anyway, because Trey didn't show me anything. First game. It could be Russ. I don't know. Trey just didn't show me anything.
Trey can't play, man. Trey can't play. That's the key for that part right there. Trey can't play. So what are you gonna do? Because he's gonna be your third quarterback.
Either he let Dak walk and run with Cooper, and like you said, draft another QB, or you're gonna have to pay Dak.
Now, out of anything, like I say, Dak number should not be anything over 50. Should not.
Look for 55. He looking for
55. I know he won't 55. He should not even be there. Dak need a $40 million, that 1-year deal. I wouldn't give him a whole lot, maybe 2 years. But Dak's been in the league 10 years now, right?
Close to it, yeah.
Okay, he's Romo. He's Romo. I mean, you don't. I don't see it getting any better for y'all. And you got to think about it. If y'all can't take advantage of the NFC right now, y'all never gonna be able to take advantage of the NFC, and it's not gonna happen. It's not.
Okay, let's go. Let's go into the Steelers. All right.
All right, I can sum this up. I can sum this up real quick. We will go as far as the quarterback takes us, whether it's Russ.
Who's your QB gonna be though?
I don't know. From a fan standpoint, I want Justin to get the job. Only because of his age and the things I know Justin has the capability to do. Justin is his own worst enemy, though.
Can Mike break him out of that, though?
He gonna have to. You can't from the snap, man. That's the basics of football.
Because the standard is the standard.
The standard is the standard, man. And see, this is the thing, Mike. You got your extension, but Steeler Nation, some factions in Steeler Nation don't want Mike to be the coach. And I will say this here. Last 2 years, Mike has had this team in the playoffs and on the cusp of playoffs, and he ain't had no business being there.
And that's what I'm saying. Who else you gonna replace him with?
There is nobody. There's nobody on staff. There's nobody that has used to work for us that you would replace him with. Right now, there isn't a person out there that I could say is ready to take over. Well, take that back. There is one person, but he already got a job. DeMeco Ryans. He already got a job. DeMeco Ryans would be perfect as a Steeler head coach. But there's nobody else. There's nobody else that could come in there and do what we need to do. Now, Steeler Nation is impatient. I know that. We stayed with Ben too long. That's why we in the situation that we in. The defense is always going to be there. That's a Pittsburgh staple. I'm confident the running game can get back because we've invested heavily in the offensive line. So I feel pretty good about that. I don't like this Brandon Ayuk trade talk. I think it's ridiculous. Brandon Ayuk ain't even the best wide receiver on his team. So why are we entertaining this for that kind of money to do that? I think Ayuk is a benefactor of playing with the 49ers.
Debo and Kittle.
Yeah, because ain't nobody double teaming you. Ain't nobody double teaming you. You already know who the most dangerous person on that football team, and he playing the backfield. So you are not getting double teamed. Okay, you come over. I think it would hinder George Pickens' development. We did the right thing getting rid of Deontay Johnson, sending him to the Panthers, because he couldn't catch a cold. So sending him to the Panthers ain't hurting my feelings not one bit. I think we need to continue to build like we're doing. We got two outstanding young tight ends. Honestly, we need the old school, to be honest. Line up, run the football until somebody stop you, bro. That's the way I look at it. If we can do that, just from the standpoint, and people probably gonna get mad when I say this, but the Ravens are terrible. And not because they're my biggest rival. Go back and look at the record Lamar has against the Steelers. He's only won twice, okay, since he's been there. So we ain't worried about Lamar. That don't even factor into what we do. The Ravens lost their mystique when when Ray and Ed decided they was going to retire. That was it.
So what about in Suggs? But so what do you see y'all in the division?
We're gonna win the division. I have zero faith in the Bengals. The Bengals are gonna bangle. And then also you got to realize Jamar Chase wants to get paid, deserve to get paid. You didn't pay T. Higgins. You wouldn't allow T to come home because he wanted to come to Carolina. So he got to wait another year before he can come to Carolina, and he deservedly so needs to come and get this money down here. I think he will flourish. And then the other part of it, Joe Burrow cannot stay healthy. So why are you gonna put faith in the Bengals?
They don't have Boyd anymore. Who's their running back now? Mixon left too, right?
Yeah. So I don't know who's going to be their running back. So you got to replace parts, and then the offensive line still wasn't great anyway. That's why Joe Burrow stayed hurt. And then they lost some key players on their defense. But everybody's showing love to the Bengals just because Joe Burrow's back. Oh, well. But
All right,
then
what about Cleveland?
Defense is hell. I ain't gonna lie. Their defense is on par with us.
You think Deshaun turned the corner this year?
Nope.
And do what he's supposed to do?
He gone, bro. He gone.
Better days are done.
He gone, man. Them 2 years not playing, he gone, man. I don't think you will see Houston Deshaun Watson anymore. That's just the way I feel about it. I don't think you'll see Houston Deshaun Watson anymore.
It's going to play out one of two ways. Either he's got a lot to prove and he's going to show out, or like you said, he's going to ride off in the sunset.
I think he's going to ride off in the sunset, to be honest, because I don't see it. Man, I still got them possibly making the playoffs just because of the defense. But as you saw last year, how they got carved up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think that hurt them emotionally because their defense was stout last year.
But how much time did they spend on the field in that game, though?
Well, I mean, when your offense ain't doing nothing, I mean, that's what's gonna hurt you. And honestly, the offense with Deshaun wasn't that spectacular. You know,
I mean, he didn't have a lot of time with him. But I think this year,
well,
you'll see a difference.
If I had to pick, you know, now the Ravens gonna make the playoffs just because Harbaugh is that good a coach. Okay, the Ravens gonna make the playoffs, but they ain't gonna win the division because they can't beat us. That's their biggest problem. Because people forget we only lost one game in the division last year, and that was to Cleveland, and that was a game we should have won. But again, we ain't had quarterback play because Kenny Pickett could stand in the ocean and couldn't hit water. So he's in Philly, and they already talking about he's going to be the third string quarterback. So that says all I need to know right there. That was a bad move. I didn't want him in the first place. It is what it is. But the Ravens will be second, and I got the Browns actually third, and I actually have them. It's a toss-up between them and the Dolphins to make that last wild card spot. So I mean, I have no faith in the Bengals. The Bengals have not had sustained greatness probably since we were kids with Boomer. That was the last time they had, you know, a run.
Yeah, all right.
Boomer and Icky. Let's talk about the Panthers, man.
2 words.
Sorry.
Or 1 word. There you go. They're sending a lot more pieces.
You know, I applaud the people of Charlotte. They got good hearts because I wouldn't have gave Tepper any money to refurbish the stadium. He's the worst owner in all of sports. But they went on and did it, and I understand because they want to keep the Panthers there. And I have no problem with that because of the fact I enjoy going to Charlotte to watch a game. I have no problem with it.
It's a great football city. I mean, can't take a thing from it.
When the Panthers are good, the stadium is full. I mean, you can't. That has always been. When the Panthers have been good, the stadium is full.
Well, hold up now. Before you go any further, we're gonna have to go ahead and tie these two together. Then. Falcons and the Panthers.
Well,
when they're bad, the stadium is empty. You're right.
Yeah, when they bad, and you'll see that the first game of the year, Steelers play the Falcons. It's gonna be more Steelers fans in attendance than Falcon fans.
But I don't know, man. This is I think it feels a little bit different for the Falcons. Now, I'm not saying anything's gonna be different as far as the record or whatever. It feels a little different this time around.
It feels different, but honestly, we said that, we talked about it last year. The Falcons had a good enough defense. Didn't have a great defense, but it was good enough.
Yeah.
They just didn't have nothing for offense, man. I mean,
and they stayed on the field too long.
Desmond Ritter was terrible.
Terrible. He's not there anymore. So how much upgrade his cousin? What's Kirk you gonna get?
Well, that's the point. Because last year, I'll be honest, we went last year to the Vikings and Panthers game, and I saw Kirk Cousins in live and in color, and he is awful. Honestly, he makes plays, but you got to remember too, Justin Jefferson is a bad boy. Okay, but Kirk Cousins is a terrible quarterback. I saw some stuff in that game, and I'm like, you playing against the Panthers, and they struggled for about 3 quarters because they couldn't.
He's always that. He's the fourth quarter. That's him. I don't know why that is, but
I think it was a bad move to give him all that money. Now one thing I do agree with the Falcons, getting Michael Penix was a good move.
Yeah, but look at it this way though. I mean, it's almost the Romo effect. If you give him a good running game, which he should have with Algiers and Robinson
and Bijan,
and you use the O-line the right way, he doesn't have to do much. He just needs to manage the game.
I got to win in the division because I honestly believe Kirk Cousins can get the Falcons 12 wins. I honestly believe it.
Do you think he's going to dominate shake and bake down in Tampa?
Yeah. Okay, Baker can't put 2 good years together, man. That wasn't going to happen. They won the division. First of all, you got Baker Mayfield as your quarterback. And I hate to do this to Todd Bowles, but I'm going to do it. Todd Bowles is your head coach, man. Come on, bro. Come on. The only reason they won the division last year is because of the fact the Falcons had 0 offense. If the Falcons had 50% of our offense, they would have won the division, man. The Saints are dead. Saints are dead. They back to the Aints. They back to the Aints. They not gonna. The Saints have no bit now. Spencer Rattler gonna end up being the starting quarterback. That ought to tell you right there. You gonna let a Gamecock be the starting quarterback?
He was at Oklahoma first, though.
His last thing gonna say South Carolina Gamecock. And see the thing about the Panthers, and I feel sorry for them just from the standpoint, man. I don't know what their philosophy is because you went and got Bryce Young. You could have had CJ Stroud. You need a defensive leader. Luke Kuechly had to retire because of concussions. You have not replaced that yet.
That's a generational talent, though. I mean, that's hard to replace.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. In the 35 years the Panthers have been in, though, they've always consistently had great defenses, man.
Great linebackers. You're right.
Right.
They have.
You just had their first player to go into the Hall of Fame last week with Julius Peppers. I mean, the Panthers have had players.
They have, yeah.
They've had players. Their problem is they haven't had sustained longevity from anybody. Their offense has been garbage since Cam ain't quarterback no more. Cam was the straw that stirred that drink while he was here, and they haven't replaced it. Steve Smith is the straw that stirred that drink, bro. You ain't got that type of receiver. Now I applaud the Steelers for getting rid of Deontay Johnson, but I'm going to tell you right now, he ain't going to help the Panthers. You had a year, 2 years ago, Deontay Johnson, I think, caught 118 balls, had 0 touchdowns, man. Come on, bro. In this league now, and you wide receiver, and you can't get 5, he couldn't get 1. That tell you all you need to know about Deontay Johnson. And he was the focal point of the offense that year because we didn't have anything else. So you still couldn't score. That told me everything you needed to know about him. And then Torrance Marshall, he is probably one of the most disappointing LSU wide receivers that have come out of LSU. He ain't like the rest of them. I can tell you that. They have virtually nothing on offense and playing in a bad division. They would be lucky, honestly. Now, they ain't going to go 0-17, but if they get to 5, that coach has done a tremendous job. He's done a tremendous job. Okay. If they can get to 5, Kelsey, you can put him as coach of the year, bro, because...
But they got 2 last year, right?
They got 2.
Only 1. They got 2 last year.
2 or 1? It was 1. They only got 1.
It was 1. They got the Falcons.
Yeah, they got the Falcons. And that, there you go, right there. That one game kept the Falcons out of the playoffs. Who?
They didn't beat the Saints. No, they didn't.
No, okay. Saints thumped them both times last year. And they was winning both games. And lost. The thing about it is Bryce Young, I don't think is going to be a great starting quarterback. Even if he was in a perfect situation, I don't think he's going to be a great starting quarterback. He just ain't got the size. I mean, playing at Bama is one thing, but you're surrounded by 5 stars at every position at Bama.
Yeah.
This ain't, I hate to say this because a college team could never beat a pro team, but honestly, you don't have 5 stars on pro teams. I'm sorry. That's why there's only 53 men on the roster. It is what it is. You don't think he could challenge his inner Drew Brees? They're about the same bill. No. One of the things about Drew Brees, and you already knew this about Drew Brees when he was in college, he was an accurate passer. And honestly, the thing about Drew Brees, when he was good in San Diego, but he was great in New Orleans. Not because he was a great player. He had the right scheme at the right time. That's what made Drew Brees a star. He had the right scheme at the right time. That's why you see his coach in Denver now. He can't do nothing, man. He's never going to amount to anything because he's never going to be able to replicate Drew Brees. Same thing with Belichick. You can't replicate Tom Brady.
The right fit for the right system.
Yeah. You had to have the right person to run that system and nobody else, because you think about it, Josh McDaniels has had 2 head coaching jobs because he was Tom Brady's offensive coordinator, and he's flamed out at both of them because sometimes you got to have the right player to be in your scheme. That's why Steeler players go other places and don't never amount to anything, because the Steelers match who fits their system. If you're good in the Steelers system, you're not going to be good anyplace else because it doesn't work like that. And the Steelers been doing this for years, and everybody's been knowing it. If you're a great pass rusher in the Steelers 3-4, if you lead to go someplace else, you're not going to be a great pass rusher. I can tell you that right now. Now TJ might be the exception, but even without that, him and TJ and JJ is just a different breed, period. That's just like I had folks, Clown is back at the Panthers now. He's playing close to home, which is a mistake, but then he's here. But, everybody talked about, Jadeveon Clowney is the biggest bust you ever want to see in your life. Just from the standpoint, you've had the capability of playing with some of the best pass rushers in football, and you still cannot get to 10 sacks.
Well, I mean, that's the work ethic on that part. I mean, that's the
Kelsey.
He was bigger, better, and faster than everybody else in college. He didn't have to put
Kelsey.
much effort in. So,
You played on a Houston team with
yeah,
J.J. Watt,
yeah,
consistently doubled and triple team, and you couldn't get 10 sacks, bro.
work ethic.
I know that's what it is because I've seen Jadavion when he was in high school. I saw him in college. He played when he wanted to play.
You can't turn it off and on in the NFL. Can't do it.
That has been his thing since he been there. Last year he played with Myles Garrett, and you lucked up and got into 10 sacks. That's the first time in your whole career you had got to double-digit sacks in a season. Bruh, Myles Garrett had 18, 19 last year.
Yeah.
Come on now. You know he was getting double team and triple team and sometimes quadruple team.
Technique, work ethic, and pure strength. That's a big boy.
He is. I am a known Gamecock hater, so I will take this on the chin. But again, it has never developed into what everybody thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And plainly because he has not put forth consistent effort. So we're going to go on and throw this out here like this. Coop, who your playoff teams for the NFC?
I see the Packers still being there. Of course, San Francisco. I'm gonna throw Dallas in there as probably a wild card.
So that means you got the Eagles winning the East?
Probably so. It depends on what Jalen Hurts we see.
You think
And I'm
Sirianni
saying
gonna
that
stay?
because I don't know. I have no idea. But all I know is we're just too inconsistent. And I don't think we're gonna be able to do it, especially with our schedule this year. I don't see it. I don't see us winning our division. So let me see. We got San Francisco Eagles, we got Packers, and we got the Falcons. And we got 3 wild card teams, right?
Yep, got 3 wild card teams.
It just depends on what Seattle we see. I'm gonna say Detroit. I'm gonna say the Cowboys, and then the last team would probably be, I don't know. I'm trying to think through this.
Well, I give you mine while you think about that last one. I got the Eagles winning the East, Packers winning the North, Falcons winning the South, 49ers winning the West. I got the Rams as wild
I forgot
card.
about the Rams. Yeah.
I got the Lions as a wild card, and I got a toss-up between the Cowboys and the Bears. And the only reason I say the Cowboys and the Bears had good enough defense last year. Offense was terrible. If they can get anything out of Caleb Williams, the Bears should be able to make it. Now, I'm gonna put this here. Now, really, I said the Cowboys. But if the Cowboys don't get CD in camp and they start the season without him, y'all have no running game because y'all brought back Zeke. I don't know why, but
well, actually, we shouldn't have never let Zeke go last year. And I know this is gonna sound crazy, but with that tandem of Zeke and Tony was eating. Zeke set it up, and Tony gave you that home run punch. It worked. But now, yeah, you're right. You don't have that home run because Tony was change of pace. It was once you see you handing him the reins by himself, it never panned out. I don't think he had to run over 20 yards.
I think Rico Dowdle is going to be your starter though.
I would probably still do Zeke as the starter and let Rico come in and eat. That formula would probably work better.
It might, but like I say, that 7th seed is the Bears and the Cowboys fighting it out only because I got no faith in the Cowboys out of the offense. And if the Bears can get some semblance of offense out of Caleb Williams and he don't turn the football over, the Bears can get in. Now, this is going to be the issue, though, with the Lions.
Even if CD there. I mean, it don't matter.
Well,
that going.
Yeah, but see, if CD's there, CD can cure a lot of ills, man. And you're not gonna get that if he ain't there. You know, if he hold out and don't come to training camp at all and start the season and he ain't there and y'all go down 0-2 quick, it's gonna snowball on y'all. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the only
So we
thing
got Cleveland the first game, I think.
y'all got the Giants first, ain't it?
I thought it was Cleveland.
Cleveland. Yeah. Okay. All right. What you think about the AFC?
You know that fella from Kansas City, you can't ever count him out. And then you got the Houston Texans. But I don't know though. Yeah, I'm gonna take Houston. I'm gonna put Indianapolis in as a wild card. Y'all divisions, I'm gonna give that to the Browns. I'm gonna put y'all in as a wild card. And might as well go ahead and finish the division out with the I don't know. That whole division might make it, honestly.
Oh, the East.
Can you not? I mean, say what you want to say, man. Burrow's gonna be there, unless they just really tank up this year. I don't see it. And Miami will probably win that because I don't see the Jets doing it.
Well,
All right, no.
okay.
Let me go ahead and change that. I'm gonna say Miami will win that division. I'm gonna say Cleveland's gonna win y'all division. Patrick Mahomes and who am I missing? The Houston Texans.
You said the Texans.
And for the wild card, it depends if Richardson can stay healthy. But then again, I don't know. Indianapolis don't have no defense. I'm gonna give it to the Jaguars. I get the Jaguars as wild card for that division. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a toss up between. Now I'm gonna say the Rams. I mean the Ravens and the Steelers. Those are 3 wild card teams.
Okay. All right. I got Buffalo winning the East only because until Miami can show me they can win on a big stage and not just against regular teams, I can't put the Dolphins to win the division.
You didn't think the Bills lost too much?
No, I think they got enough to win. One key factor they have, you still got to go to Buffalo in November and December, bro. That's an advantage that ain't nobody else got to deal with. Okay.
So you think Josh Allen can manage that ship that long? I mean, to get him where they need to be?
If they utilize their tight ends, because they are one of the few teams that have 3 outstanding tight ends. If they can utilize it, they could dominate. I say run the football and let him play action off it. It might do him better not to have a receiver. Honestly, it might do him better not to have a receiver because
what's going to happen when you get them happy feet though? Because you got happy feet.
Oh, he gonna throw picks. He gonna throw picks. That's
I'm talking about taking on running too.
There ain't nobody. The reason why I gave it to Buffalo because Miami lost Christian Wilkins, and Miami defense wasn't the greatest as it is. True. And they, the Jets got defense, but Aaron Rodgers, come on, bro. Come on, bro. We saw the decline in Green Bay. Forget last year. You can take that off there. We saw the decline in Green Bay. Okay.
Jordan Love to that same team and did wonders with it. But
put on a show. Because I'm gonna be honest, the Packers have some of the best young talent in football. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Them boys, once they figure out how to play the game, you better win now because it's gonna be the Packers in the NFC will be ruled by the Packers for the next 6 to 7 years. Okay, I'm just gonna go on and put it out there right now. If you don't win this year, the Packers will rule the NFC for the next 6 to 7 years. Mark it down because nobody has what them boys have. They got a player at every position on the field. They offense is ridiculous. And they made an upgrade at running back. So, Aaron Jones stayed hurt. They made an upgrade at running back. They are fixing to be unstoppable. And if you don't get them now, you can hang it up for the next 6, 7 years. But I got Buffalo winning the East. Jets ain't going nowhere. The Jets are the Jets, man. Let's just be real. It's just some teams, it is what it is. The Jets are the Jets. I got the Steelers winning the North, Chiefs winning the West. I got the Texans winning the South. Our wild cards are the Ravens, the Colts. I like where the Colts going. The Colts and the Texans gonna be the premier. That's gonna be the premier rivalry for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
I think Anthony Richardson and CJ
CJ.
Stroud is gonna be that's gonna be must see TV. That's gonna be the new Brady and Peyton for the next
Mm-hmm.
6-7 years. Super Bowl is gonna be good next 6-7 years. You're gonna have these young cats going against the Packers, bruh. I mean, Mahomes has only got probably 3 more in him.
Mm-hmm.
When I say 3 more, I mean 3 more possibilities of winning. Long as he playing, the Chiefs are gonna be relevant. Because you can't do nothing with him. This little boy is otherworldly. He will go down, even if he don't get to 7 Super Bowls and win.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be the greatest. He is right now. He's the greatest quarterback I've ever seen, and that putting him in front of Dan Marino, bro. And
Mm-hmm.
I hold Dan Marino and Elway in high regard. So just seeing what he do, you can't stop him. And just like in the Super Bowl when the 49ers scored, I said, oh, y'all left him too much time. Y'all done messed up. And what we've seen in the last couple of years, any time left on the clock gives him too much time. Just like Buffalo, you can't let him get an opportunity because he knows what he's doing. Plus the fact he got an outstanding coach, man.
I was about to ask you, would he beat Mahomes without Andy Reid?
No.
Because you got to think about it. We've seen Mahomes before. It's just the right coach wasn't in place. Now he took it to another level, but I'm gonna say Matthew Stafford was doing that before. He had the same type of arm. He just didn't have the right coaching.
Well, he didn't. Matthew Stafford relied too much on and I don't get me wrong, Megatron will make everything look good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I mean the type of throws and degree of difficulty. Now don't get me wrong. He's landing those because you had Kelsey and of course you had Tyreek. You did have a fall off in the wide receiver when Tyreek left, but you still had enough in place to do what needed to be done. It was by committee instead of 2 people. But
right.
I mean, I still say Matthew had it in him. I mean, by the time he got to the Rams, he was a little long in the tooth, but earlier in his career, you saw flashes of that. He just didn't have the right coaching.
Well, I kind of feel like now Stafford still top 10 quarterback because he's gonna get the Rams back to the playoff. Now they ain't going nowhere.
No.
But he's gonna get them back to the playoff. But
that sidearm and making those difficult throws, different angles, I mean, Stafford was doing it.
Yeah. But see, my thing with Pat is this here. He know how to win, man. And that trumps everything. When you know how to win, that trump everything, man.
Because I saw a crazy stat. I think somebody put it there for the last 3-4 seasons. If you put his stats up against Dak's, just wins and losses and percentage, same. But the biggest difference is when you win and when you lose. Like you said, winning is everything.
Mahomes and Dak have virtually the same statistics. The only difference is wins and losses.
Super Bowls. When they win and when they lose.
Yeah. If Pat got an opportunity to win a football game, I got all faith in the world he gonna win it, bro. He is about as automatic as Triple H. You already knew when Triple H,
when the spotlight shines, you got people that step up to the plate. You got Mahomes, you got Jordan, you got Curry.
Yeah.
And my boy too, D Wade. I mean, I'm gonna say that.
I mean,
but you got a handful, not many though.
You can't put that on. There ain't nobody right now that can go against him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody love to put Burrow up there, but Joe Burrow can't win.
No. The thing he had early in the career was Deshaun. But even when they played head to head, Sean could, they had the lead, but Sean could do nothing with him. I mean, it is what it is.
Deshaun, now, if had Deshaun not went through what he done been through, that was gonna be the marquee for the next 10 years. Deshaun versus Mahomes was gonna be fire because
he had the mindset. I mean, he had that will that would go up against with no problem. Just quiet, silent assassin.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. But see, the thing is gonna be when you're in the AFC though, honestly, by the time you get, even if what they showed last year, they ain't got to play in Kansas City to win games, but it's just hard to beat them, period. And it's been like that since he took over as starting quarterback. I think the first game he had where he was the starter was against us, and he put 42 on us in Heinz Field. So I'm like, to light us up like that, and we haven't been able to do anything with him since he took over. Whoever, even if it's Houston next year. Now the thing, I think Houston eventually is going to be able to take him down because DeMeco Ryans is just that kind of coach, man. He coached defense. He know what he's doing. He getting his players. And then offensively, the Texans is loaded. They didn't even need Stephon Diggs. They were already loaded.
You think it's going to be an asset or a distraction?
If he ain't getting the ball, he gonna cause a problem. I already know that because he think he's better than what he is. He feels like he is Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. He think he ran him off. He is not any of those. The reason why Buffalo hasn't went farther, every time they get in a game like that, he becomes real small.
Well, then they didn't have Gabe last year either. But Gabe is he's with Jaguars now. So.
Yeah, but even with when you had both of them, Gabe outshined him. That was the whole thing. He has, other than, if you go back and look at his career, other than the Minnesota Miracle when they beat the Saints, what has he ever done in the playoffs, man? He's never done anything in the playoffs. The hallmark, especially in football, but other sports too, when the light shine greatest, can you make a play?
Yeah.
And he is one of those. He doesn't make a play when this, like when the bright lights are on, he does not make plays.
All right. So who we got going to the Super Bowl?
Chiefs, Packers.
And I'm gonna say this with a straight face. Chiefs, Cowboys. Cowboys winning.
Who?
Cowboys winning.
Against who?
The Chiefs. Chiefs, Cowboys. Cowboys winning.
What's in your cup?
I'm not drinking.
You got to be. You done went from them barely making the playoffs to going to the Super Bowl.
They got nothing to lose. Watch what I tell you. I always know football sometimes. Watch what I tell you.
Well,
didn't I tell you I was gonna win? Didn't I tell you they record last year?
Yeah, you did.
Didn't I tell you I was gonna win pigskin pick'ems 2 years ago?
You did that too. But I'm just gonna say this here.
Okay.
Packers. And I'm gonna throw this one out here. The 49ers won't make it to the NFC Championship game.
No, Cowboys. Cowboys, Packers. Cowboys win.
I think it's gonna be Packers. It'll be the Packers and the Rams, or the Packers and the Lions. It will not be
Cowboys,
the 49ers. And the reason why I say it won't be the 49ers coach is their biggest problem. Okay.
Shanahan. Yeah.
He is their biggest problem. Okay. Mike McCarthy is y'all biggest problem.
Cowboys will win.
Sirianni is the Eagles' biggest problem. Honestly,
we getting six. We getting number 6 this year.
No, Kelsey, you say that every year. You've been saying it for the last 30.
No, I always say Cowboys going to Super Bowl, but they buying their tickets. I'm not saying that this year. Cowboys going to Super Bowl this year. Trust me on that.
but again, like I say, I would love for the
Trust me.
Steelers to go, but honestly, if we had the Steelers would be good if we had to play the Ravens or the Browns or Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
But because I know if we get that far, it's either going to be the Chiefs or the Texans. We ain't got enough to beat them too. I can go on record right now and say we ain't got enough to beat them too.
I'm going to tell you now what's going to happen during the season for the Cowboys.
All right. So we'll go ahead.
The best thing is going to be happening. They're going to find a way to win close games.
Okay.
The games they're supposed to win, they're going to find a way to win them.
We'll see. We'll see.
And that's going to give them the confidence to go ahead and do what they got to do.
So for the next 25 weeks, this is what y'all going to have to hear. Look forward to it. This is just a sampling. When we get closer to the season starting, we'll be giving our top picks for the games. And also we'll be digging in a little more on high school football once it gets going in both states, in Georgia and in South Carolina, two hotbeds.
Definitely.
Look at rosters across the South. Georgia and South Carolina put out a lot of great players. South Carolina being the size that it is, South Carolina consistently puts out great college football players. Georgia, we already know is rich. But one of the key things for those of you that don't understand football down here, a lot of Georgia players go to Clemson. A lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
Clemson does heavy recruiting in Athens. You wouldn't think that they would all go to Georgia, but Clemson does heavy recruiting in Athens and heavy recruiting in Atlanta. So
Moffitt's from Georgia. Moffitt's from I want to say Loganville.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Grayson, Loganville, all that's in there together. But
our last two national championship winning quarterbacks, state of Georgia. I mean,
Gainesville and Cartersville.
Cartersville, yeah. So Clemson has made a living going in there. In Georgia, they'll come over here, they get somebody that they see that they want. It is what it is. So we're gonna highlight all of that, and I'm looking forward to it, man. I think this is a great first show. We'll get a little more into it once everybody start hitting on the field and pads start going, and you see some things. We won't pick the top 12 until probably mid-October for college, till after we done seen some people play. And then NFL every week. Of course, we're going to touch on the two home teams and the Steelers and the Cowboys. But if you're good, we're going to talk about you. So that's just the way we go.
Yeah, I'm going to have to listen to Stephen A. and Antonio all season until we raise that trophy. But anyway, go ahead and close it out. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I'm confident with it.
I mean, I'm probably better. I don't say this too much, but I'm probably better at trolling than Stephen A. is. Because Kelsey knows. Kelsey knows. Kelsey has had to deal with it for a lot of years. But it's an art form to trolling Cowboy fans because y'all make it so easy for us sometimes that you can't help but do it.
Now, I'm the realest Cowboy fan, I don't get all on the bandwagon saying all this. Like I said, for the past few years, I did say we're going to the Super Bowl, but I said we're buying our ticket. This year is different.
I hear you. But now one of the good things about this, because we're doing weekly, we're gonna get other Cowboy fans, Tough and Ski, on here to talk about this, and that's gonna be interesting and fun. But again, this show is not media driven. This show is from a fan's perspective, and this show is gonna stay that way until it's over with. We just talking like we would normally talk, about the game. This is what we do anyway. We just say we're gonna put it on tape now because we talk every week during football season about some foolishness that we didn't see on Sunday. A lot of times it'd be Sunday night, but we're gonna do it during the week so that give it a little time to chill sometime, because you know we do kind of get out of hand. And then because we play each other this year, we'll figure out something. We might have to do a live show for that.
Got to. So yeah.
So anyway, we'll see y'all next week. Again, this will be up for the next 20, I think it's 25 weeks. I think I got it set up for. So y'all get ready. And again, glad to be back, man.
Oh yeah.
And
it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. And we still got SGP coming, so don't worry about it, you know. But this is just a little sidebar we want to try out. You know, keep branching, keep growing. You know how it is.
Exactly.
All right, peeps. Well, we'll see y'all next week. All right.
Until next time.